Hello, welcome to What Makes This Bike Great, and today we're talking about the Yamaha FZR750R, otherwise known as the OW01. Now this is a very special bike, as most of you will know, and any of you of a certain age like me will remember them back in the day. Homologation specials, they were very rare. You never used to see many, only in magazines and the race versions. But you know, when you see them in the flesh, you know about it. There's something very special about these bikes, and this and the RC30 and the homologation special ZXR 750 and the GSXR 750 RR. They're all kind of in a group together as those first special bikes built for the newly launched, as it was then, World Superbike Championship. So this bike is immaculate. We're going to be looking at it. Belongs to Kevin Berry, a dear viewer, and I think without any further ado we should go and say hello. Here we are with Kevin and your amazing OW01. Thanks very much for inviting us down to look at it. Before we go on and talk about it, just give me a little sort of history of your biking journey up until now.
Yeah, so I guess grew up riding sort of bikes off-road, bits and pieces, just cousins' bikes and this and that. Then at 16, first bike was a well, not a Fizzy, the Fism, which was the blue white speed block. Sort of bought that off my cousin for 10 quid. We used to. He was a couple of years older, and we used to go to youth club, and I used to start it with a 1p and try and nick it and ride it around the village. But so I had that. Invariably, a bit of a theme here. I blew that up quite badly. And I bought a C50 after that, an unrestricted C50. Then passed my test on a TS125, Suzuki TS125, which I bought off, I think, one of my sister's boyfriends. So that was good. Kept that for a while. Then moved on to pass test and bought a VFR 250R, which is white and red, which looked the nuts, but wouldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding sort of thing. So that was okay. And then I bought a GPZ 600R, which was my pride and joy. So I had that for probably a couple of years until I bought a car. I was working at Sizewell C, which isn't that far away, so not a big commute to work. Just take the bike every day. So yeah, GPZ 600R was a really, really nice bike. The black and red one with a little silver strip down the middle. So that was good. Then I had a little break, probably about 10 years, sort of kids and the rest of it and work overtook a bit. And moved on to, I actually bought an off-road bike, a YZ125 from Bavins at Dis. That was one of their race bikes, their third bike. So had that for a while, and just used to go weekends. There's a track near me at Blythbury, used to go there riding. That very, very bad. As soon as I go in the air, I sort of shit myself. So just ride it around. Be better at flat tracking than motocross. But and then I then thought I really got the bug for another road bike. Sort of things had calmed down. Sort of work was going well. So I got back into road bikes with a Bandit 600 Bandit. Which is quite nice. Yoshimori exhaust, it's quite good, but again, you just get pretty quickly after a couple of months, you think it's pretty good, but it's not that quick. So I bought an 06 FZ1N, which is it's got the R1 engine in at the time, not the the old one, not the big bang, the old straight bars. I think it's based like a Phaser, but a bit more street fightery than the Phaser. And I had that for quite a few years and really, really liked it. That was a great bike. After that, I bought MT09 Street Tracker, and I didn't really get on with it. It looked nice, but it wasn't that good. Anyway, various other bits and pieces, an XSR 900, then an S1000R from Andy Reynolds. I think you've done one of these for. He had your long-term S1000R, so I bought the previous one over, which he'd tricked up with a really nice bike, and round to Triumph Scrambler where I am now. So and a couple of and an old SB200 two-stroke. But in the midst of all that, I really was looking for a second bike, something that I just really sort of lusted after for a long time. And I actually went to one of my dad's friends, Harry Fairbrother, who's we've known for years. He buys and sells bikes, and he said, "Come and have a look. I've got a bike for you." And I went to look at it, and up on his stand, he had it was actually an FZR 1000. And it was, I guess it would have been early 90s. It was sort of purple and blue and sort of looked like it should have been on sort of some sort of motocross, sort of those colours bikes, and it was, and I think it had purple wheels, and but in the corner there was something with a cover over it, and he literally, I said, what's that? And he lifted the cover off to about here. And as soon as I recognised it, I was like, oh, that's an OW01, isn't it? He said, yeah, do you know? And then we pulled it off, and it definitely wasn't what I was looking for, but, you know, sort of growing up, and, you know, in 1989, I just started work, and I was probably earning, you know, sort of £100 a week. And, and I think at the time, these were probably about £14,000 I think, to buy. And
at the same time where a GSXR would have been about 4 or 5. So they were a lot more money, weren't they?
So, and to be honest, the only place we saw them was, you know, been to World Superbike rounds at Donington, and been to Brands Hatch, and people like Terry Reimer were riding around, and you know, so you'd seen them, never really saw one in the flesh, and didn't know anyone who had. So I thought, we'll give it a go.
Wow.
And that's 6 years ago. So yeah.
And they were properly special. They're homologation specials, aren't they? They're built in limited numbers. People say that these are actually better than the RC30s of the day. You know, and that they did really well on track as well. And they were sort of part of a family of bikes, weren't they? There was the FZR 600. You've got a picture there.
So this is actually the brochure.
The X-Up, and then the OW01. They all look similar, but there's something about the OW01 just chunkier and more
exactly.
purposeful.
I think the single seat, just a bit, you know, a bit flatter tank. I mean, I really wanted an FZR 600. That's what I was, you know, back in the day. I had the GPZ, wanted an FZR, and I was talking to you earlier about, you know, sort of the performance bike generation, and Mark Forsyth coming over that hill, crossed up, getting some air, and you think, you know, that was, and there was a guy in Middleton not far from me had an FZR 1000, but they're pretty big old beast, and I think this just sort of sat in the middle there. It's obviously between the 600 and the 1000, but but a great bike.
So looks like you could eat your dinner off of this. Was it like that when you got it?
Yeah, it actually was. So it had been, so Harry Fairbrother had bought it from a bike shop down south, and it had actually been, someone had actually spent a lot of time and restored it. So I think back in its day, so there is a bit of it, it's an 89 bike, but it wasn't registered until 2000, but it had a fair bit of love, and it's actually, I've got a...
So would it have been raced? Well, that big gap?
Well, we're not sure, so that's so we can't find out. So it's definitely an import. So the story,
so it's a Japanese import.
Yeah. So
how do you tell that? There's some giveaways. Isn't
yeah.
there?
So I think the fairing's slightly different at the front, and the OW1 plate is on the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side. So I think there's a few.
Is the tail unit a little bit different?
I think it's probably So there's a few. So if you're a aficionado, you definitely know.
Exactly.
You definitely know the difference. So the story is, it was a Carl Fogarty bike. It was given to him. He was 1992, the famous senior against Steve Hislop, where he lost out, but he settled that record. The rumour is it was in the magazine. It was given to him.
Practical Sports Bikes, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was given to him. He wanted the cash, so he sold it on, and then it appeared in 2000. So it's actually got an Isle of Man number plate on it. So it's but we've been trying to do a bit of research. I did try and contact him, but he was not too forthcoming with any details. So not saying he's surly, but you know, I'm sure he's got a lot of people asking for about a lot of old bikes. But fair play. But no, so so it'd been. And actually in the magazine, it's got black wheels, so someone's done the wheels as well. And I don't know whether it's just they were getting it ready for the bike, but yeah, look, I bought it like this, and be honest, I've had it for 6 years. It's had an MOT pretty much every year. I ride it round, and it's just come back from Motor Technics. It wasn't in a great place at Christmas, where it doesn't like new petrol, and it doesn't like sitting around, and it does need to be ridden. And so it's just been into Motor Technics at Stowmarket, who have done a great job of fettling. I picked it up last night, and probably rode it around for about an hour and a half last night, and in the warm on new tyres, and parked her up. So yeah.
So what do they do to it? Just service the engine? Check it over, new tyres?
Yeah. Been right through, redone the carbs, just load of love, and properly sorted out. I just said, look, you know, whatever it needs, just sort of give it a good sort of birthday, really, and go through it, and they've done that. And this, you know, pulled up yesterday.
It's amazing, isn't it?
You see it sitting outside. You know, I think it is just an iconic. And even when I was inside paying the bill, there was people outside having a look, and it does draw a crowd. And you get lots of people. You get a lot of people say, "Oh, is that an OW01?" And you either get people say, "I love it, nice to see it out." You get other people say, "Actually, that shouldn't be ridden. It should be in a museum."
No,
so I think, but I'm like, no. And it's exactly where I'm at. Look, I ride it every couple of weeks. You know, even 5 miles, 10 miles, ride it round, and it's. But I think it's there to be.
Definitely.
It's there to be used because it's you know, it's iconic.
So how did it live up to your expectations when you first got it and first rode it?
When I first got on it, I mean, I bought it without riding it, in true sort of boyhood
it's
crush.
almost
Sort
irrelevant,
of, exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah. So I bought it back in the van. Harry brought it back over. We got it going. I took it out. I mean, the first thing is, I mean, I'm 6'2", so I'm quite long, you know, long legs. It's quite cramped. So especially, you know, the pegs are pretty high.
Yeah.
You're over. I've got a bit of a dodgy wrist, so on the clutch is quite heavy. You know, it's a bit like, you know, got a new bike. It's a bit like digital and analog. You know,
it's heavy, isn't it?
It is. It is. And you're all right, sort of. If you're coming up the gears, you just flick it in. But coming down, well, you know, and it does after, you know. So it's a bit. You're on your wrists a lot. I think the other thing is you really getting used to modern bikes. It's not got a lot of torque, but you know, you really got it. I mean, it goes round to about 15,000.
It's a race engine at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. And what you do if you get it, I'd say 10,000 plus, you get it humming, and it does go in. It does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think out of the box they're about 125 brake horsepower, something like that. I mean, I don't know what it's doing now, but probably a bit less than that. But once it does get revving, it does really feel. I think the other thing is it's really, really stiff. So you get used to, you know, if you're coming into a corner and there's a bit of repair or there's something on the road, you can get in ruts pretty easy. Yeah, you can definitely get, you know, so it's a lot. But once you get it, if you can get on a fast flowing road and you can just sort of have your sort of bum in the air a bit on the pegs and just flicking it left and right, you know, that's where it really, you know, it's really, which is hard with, you know, roads are so busy,
designed
aren't
for
they?
the track at the end of the day,
exactly.
isn't it?
So you can see that. So, but I'd say, you know, it wouldn't be for. You know, you wouldn't have it as an everyday ride. I mean, there's things a lot more, you know, comfortable and a lot more. But I think I think it probably does what it was meant to do.
Exactly.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, there's some fantastic details on this. I mean, the reserve switch. I mean, that's old school, isn't it? Speedo cable.
Yeah. Yeah, speedo cable. Yeah, got your choke.
Your choke knob.
Yeah, choke. Yeah.
I love the endurance.
Yeah, exactly. Only one open, but you got your double tank. You know,
What are your favourite parts on the bike?
Oh, favourite part.
I mean, this polished frame's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
I
I do think, and actually it does, you know, it's a bit of upkeep to keep it looking like that. But I don't know. It's sort of some of the parts. I think, you know, I think every angle you come round, it looks pretty good. You know, it looks good from the front. Looks good. You know, I'm standing here.
It doesn't have a bad angle, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think this is aftermarket. This isn't standard.
The seat pad.
Yeah, so that pad, someone's put that on.
Yeah.
And also there's an OW01 badge on the pipe, which obviously isn't standard. So someone's put that on. But I think apart from that, you know, someone has. It's pretty sympathetic to how it.
How many miles has it done?
About 16,000 kilometres, so about 10,000 miles.
That's low, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I probably in the 6 years I've had it, I've probably done a couple of thousand kilometres on it. So
apart from servicing, have you had to spend any money on it or do anything to it?
No. What it likes is put a battery in it, but it likes to be started every 2 weeks now. But if I start it, I like to run it as well, because there's nothing worse than just giving it 5 minutes and then
exactly.
So if you used it every day and ride it, what it doesn't like is sitting for a long time.
No, bikes don't like that, do they?
No.
I love the Hoover tubes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit. Yeah. They're good, aren't they? A bit like the old ZXR.
ZXRs,
Yeah. When they came out, but no, I think it's. No, I think it's you know, sort of everything. Say wanted one from being from an early, you know, from sort of that gen. I think that I said to you earlier, that sort of late 80s, 90s generation RC30 OW01, you know, the 851, 888 into the, you know, that is, I think that's, if you look at MotoGP bikes, then like the Kajiva that Eddie Lawson rode, I mean, they're just legend, and Randy Mamola, they're just, and even motocross, you know, Dave Thorpe with his CR500, I think, you know, that's sort of my era. And then you look at, you know, the RD350s and the 500s, you know, that's a great era for bikes, I think.
So is it a keeper? What's the plan for it?
Yeah, I keep thinking. I keep thinking, shall I keep it? Shall I get rid of it? It's I don't know. At the moment, I'm keeping it. And I keep saying every now and then I think, look, there's an asset sitting in the garage, and actually you're like the custodian of it for a little while. But you know, if someone else wanted it, you know, and you got a, but I think. And you do think, it's cost me, you got to obviously insure and all the rest of it, and not do loads of miles. But every time you walk in the garage, you just see it and you think, actually, you know, this big, you know, we all work hard enough, don't we, to have stuff that we. So at the moment, Yeah, at the moment,
lock wired.
Yeah, I mean everything's locked. Yeah,
Brilliant,
literally everything. I mean, basically, you could take the mirrors off it, and you could probably get it through scrutineering, and probably, you know, so in the indicators and the number plate, and tape the speedo up, and you could probably race it tomorrow. Really, you know, there is everything is ready to, everything is wired up. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. You got anything to add about the bike? Anything you'd like our dear viewers to know about it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if Carl Fogarty is watching, it'd be nice to know if he did own it. So,
yeah,
but just a bit of history. I'd say there's a gap of, we know the serial number's right. It's a 1989 bike, but there's a sort of 11 years there where it was somewhere, and we don't know, and we don't. I don't think it was raced, but you never know, dear. But
no, exactly.
But you know, I think since it's been. Got all the old MOTs, you know. I've got a lever arch file just full of all the history of it, but it all starts from a moment in time, really.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if you look at it, I just think it's great. It's a, what is it, 1989? What's that? 35-year-old bike, 36-year-old bike. Yeah. You know, it's and it still looks
amazing.
You know, yeah, and there's a lot of nice bikes around now, but I think, you know, a lot of them are. And I was in the Yamaha dealership yesterday looking at all the bikes, and there are some lovely Yamaha make good bikes. You know, as of all the. You probably can't buy a bad motorcycle now. I guess you probably know that, but well, it seems like that. But I think they all this just looks, it's just different, isn't it?
Exactly.
So it's
an icon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Any chance of a go?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Ride it like you stole it. Is that what they say? So yeah, no.
Thanks very much, Kev.
No.
Thank you very much.
No problem. No.
Cheers.
Cheers, Michael. Thank you.
Right, so we've got an FZR 750R, otherwise known as an OW01, a beautiful country road. Oh god, this feels amazing, just so raw. And like all bikes of this era, like the Ducati 888 of Mark Forsyth, you might have seen me riding, the riding position is definitely of the time. It's sat very low in the bike, so I guess top rack will quite like this riding position. The pegs are high, the bars are low, and you're forced right over the front of this bike, which is really good for racing. You can get a load of feel off the front as you're piling into corners. Now Kevin was saying that it's quite a peaky bike. Now we're down to 3,500 revs. Well, it's still nice and smooth, still pulls. It feels so tight. Oh, it's very light, very direct bike. There's no stodge in the suspension. You can just feel everything. New tyres definitely helps. 21st century tyres on a 20th century motorbike just improves it no end. Wow. Brakes are nice and progressive. Oh, listen to that suction roar. Wow. Let go of the brake, tip into the corner. Oh, just rolls in beautifully. I mean, when you ride today's bikes, which are Euro 5 plus, they've got sound deadening, they've got strange fuel maps to get them through emissions, but this just feels so pure. You know, it's an old bike, but it just doesn't feel it. They don't make them like this anymore, that's for sure. Wow. When you look around the cockpit, it must have been quite a busy cockpit back in the day. The 3 dials, the warning lights, Do I miss a TFT off an R1? Definitely not. You've got these iconic white teardrop mirrors as well. Wow, just transported straight back into time. You know, this reminds me a little bit of racing my old FZR600. Although this has got more power and I had more hair back then. Wow. Nice little pop from the exhaust. Oh, that sounds angry. Oh. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want to go touring on this. Who cares? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, what a road as well. Kev was saying that this road here was the playground when he was younger, growing up on motorbikes, racing his mates on a 50. Oh, lucky boy. Well, this doesn't do anything wrong at all. Oh, that bird's been there. Turning on the brakes, let go. Flipping heck. That is cool. I feel like Cole Fogarty at the TT. Gear change is really crisp. Wow. There's something else. I mean, the great thing about this compared to a modern superbike, it's not too fast. It's flipping fast, but not stupid fast. You know, you can still, it's quite engaging even at lower speed. God, if I had one of these, I don't know whether I want to just thrash it the whole time or sit and look at it and polish its frame. Oh dear, it's something else. Thank you very much, Kevin. Wow, I mean, that was special. For a bike of that age to still feel as good now as it probably did then. I mean, it's a testament to the way it's been looked after, the way it's been restored. Everything works perfectly as it should do. And, you know, it would be very easy to gloss over any shortcomings on the bike because it doesn't really matter how it rides, does it? It's an icon, but it's just amazing. It really is. You know, bikes just aren't that pure now. And like I said when I was riding, it's fast without being stupid fast. So it's still evolving. You know, the 750 is a magic number, as many of you will be bored with me talking about GSXR 750s now, but it really is, you know, that balance between, you know, power and handling and involvement with the revs and the lightness and the directness of the bike is just sublime. So yeah, they say never meet your heroes. I've definitely met my hero. I've ridden some OW01s before and they are special, and they still continue to be special. So Kevin, you are a very lucky man. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more like this very soon.
What do you reckon?
Fucking brilliant. That is amazing.